Hey guys, so I want to move on to the Simon Says Stamp March kit. Oh look, I promised you guys the next time I was on, that chip nail polish would be gone, and it is gone. Anyway, moving on. But I did want to show you guys the cards I did manage to get made for the donations for the children's hospitals. So I wanted to show you before I sent them out to Mary. So you guys already saw these first four. And these were made using the Bots of Love stamp set and the Love Circuit stencil from Heffy Doodle. And I love it. I actually made another card using those two items, and I'll show you that in just a second. So those four were made. Then I moved on to the superhero set from Heffy Doodle. So I used the Super Dudes and the stencil. I think it was called Cityscape, I'm not sure. But I also used a lightning bolt stencil that I made myself because I could not afford to get both the Cityscape and the lightning bolt stencil when I placed my order. So for now, it'll do. But I noticed a lot of my stencil lines are thin, so it makes it harder to work with. I will eventually get the actual stencil. Okay, so the first Super Dude card I made was this one. I ink blended on a lot of the cards because it makes for quick backgrounds. So I did this one in Squeezed Lemonade, and then I put peacock feathers on top of it to kind of make that blue, or no, Salty Ocean, to make that into a bluish green. I was afraid if I used peacock feathers like I originally wanted to, that it would make it too green, and I didn't want it to be too green. I used the Lawn Fawn rectangle die to cut that out. I colored in a lot of the shooting stars, regular stars, some of the clouds, and I put glossy accents on all the shooting stars and the regular stars. I colored the Super Dude in with my Copics. Everything from the Super Dudes was colored in with Copics. Almost everything from the Bots of Love was colored in with the Zigs. I did put glossy accents on the heart, the shooting stars, and the regular stars. And the clouds and the Super Dude are all popped up with foam tape. And then I stamped out "You Are My Hero." And I colored my hero in alternating with green and blue Copic markers. On the inside, I put "You're Going to Rock This." Now, I think I told you in the last video showing you the Bots of Love cards that I had to mix and match sentiments from other stamp sets because they're supposed to be uplifting and encouraging. So that's what I did. I had some, and then I was very excited because the stamp set that came in the Simon Says Stamp March kit had a lot of uplifting messages, so I used those in some of the cards. The next card, I used a red card base. This one I tried drawing out the lightning bolts after I traced the cityscape buildings on there. And then I colored the lightning bolts in with alternating red and yellow Copic markers. Now these are stickers, the POW, Awesome, and Boom, that I picked up at Family Dollar, which is kind of like a Dollar Tree, but it's not everything's a dollar. It's just a cheaper store. You can get deals on stuff. I don't know how far Family Dollar goes. I know I've seen Dollar General, which will come up in the next video, all the way down to South Carolina and into Georgia. Anyway, I colored my windows in with a yellow glitter gel pen. I use a sparkly piece of basil paper. I have no idea what this color is anymore. I bought it a while ago and stamped out the world needs more people like you, but I split that sentiment up. It was all one sentiment. And I didn't want it to go across the whole bottom of the card. I wanted to stack it. I popped up both of the Flying Super Dudes and the Boom, Pow, and Awesome up on foam tape. And I also colored in and stamped out and colored in a couple of those tiny lightning bolts and glued those flat to the card. Inside this one it says, "You are super, I want to be you when I grow up." And super is colored in with the yellow glitter gel pen that I used on the front. On the third Super Dude card, I used a black card base. I used my Love Nicole stone embossing folder and a piece of gray cardstock to emboss that wall behind her. And I also used some hickory smoke and weathered wood to ink blend over the stones so they had a little bit more color and dimension. I cut out a piece of grass with my Lawn Fawn grassy border die, colored that little pooch and the food bowl and her in all girl colors because I kind of wanted to make some of them leaning more towards a girl and some of them leaning more towards a boy. Some shooting stars, and then I ink blended on this guy here some picked raspberry and wilted violet oxide ink. Squirted some water on it and dabbed up some of that to make the water splotches. And I know they're not exactly the same, but I cut out the hello with a Sunny Studios word die and friend with the new Lawn Fawn word die that I had, that I just showed you guys in the last haul. I just cut the S off. So it says, "Hello friend, you're doing a fantastic job. I want to be you when I grow up." The fourth card, I wanted it to look more like a comic strip, so I did the background in black, white, and gray. I used that Zap-A-Tac, well, my version of a Zap-A-Tac stencil in the background and colored it in with black. Actually, I ink blended it with black soot, but I smudged it in some spots, so I really had to go over it with some white gel pen and cover up some of the worst spots with the images themselves. I cut out 2 hillsides from the Lawn Fawn stitched hillside border dies with gray cardstock, popped the front hill up with foam tape, stacked some tennis balls there, a food bowl, the pooch, and these were all colored in Copic, stamped out "You Are Super" in black and white, and that goes along with the background, so I left that super uncolored. Stuck some of those lightning bolts on there. And inside it says, "Take it one step at a time, you've got this, you'll rock it." It also has that same basil yellow glittery cardstock behind it as a mat, so there's a separation between the red card base. Brings in the focal point from the yellow. And the fifth card for the Super Dude cards is this guy here. I wanted to ink blend the night sky. I brought some yellow and mustard seed up from the back of the buildings. Now I was a little upset with this one. I used a different yellow gel pen, and it seemed like when I was tracing the windows it leaked through, so I had to make them a little bit bigger to correct all the ink blotches. I think that one had a lot of ink in it, so I used a different one when I did the other buildings. Popped her up on some foam tape, so she's standing in the foreground and the city is back behind her. The yellow is blended into some blueprint sketch and faded jeans combined, along with some dusty concord and wilted violet in there. I had put a little bit of black soot around the edges and blended that in some more with some blueprint sketch. And then I used some of what was left of my gold iridescent spray from a kit from Hero Arts last year. Except my sprayer doesn't work, so I gotta kind of tap it on there after I open the bottle. Because we're not allowed to use glitter on these cards, so if I want sparkle, it had to be something that wasn't going to come off the card. I heat embossed in white superfine wow embossing powder "You Are Awesome" on black cardstock. He is also popped up on foam tape, and so is his tennis ball that he's chasing, but all the stars and lightning bolts are glued down to the sky. And on the inside it says, "You are awesome. Everyone agreed. The world needs more people like you." And yes, that bottom sentiment's a little crooked. My paper moved when I was stamping it. I was very upset. But it's a handmade card. It's not going to be perfect. So it still turned out cute. Now the last card, well, it's not the last card really. I wanted to have 5 of the Bots of Love cards, so I made another one. This one was the extra Love Circuit background that I had already ink blended and didn't use, but I added some of the stenciled gears from the Tim Holtz stencil that I used on this card around the edges. And then I stacked the bots. I did not mask, I just stamped it out with VersaFine Clear Nocturne ink, and then heat embossed it with clear embossing powder. Then I stacked the next guy in the Misty, made sure that he was just touching the top of the bottom robot's head. Did the same thing. Then with the third guys, I wanted them tipped in towards each other because they were going to be holding a banner. I wasn't sure at the time if it was going to be the sentiment or the hearts, but I knew I wanted something there. So I did it on both sides, and if you notice, there's one oddball in each stack. But I kept with the purple and yellow theme aside from the gray robots. I decided to go with the heart banner, and the robots are popped up on foam tape, and so are the hearts in the center. This part's glued down right to the robots. And then I stamped out You're Amazing from that Simon Says stamp kit, stamp set that came in the March kit, and heat embossed it with clear embossing powder. And inside it says Everyone Agreed. And the last card I did, I was thinking strictly female, something that wasn't from the 2 stamp sets that I have been working with for the past week and a half. So I went with something I have not yet had a chance to use. Now I picked this up during the summer at some time. It's from Spellbinders. I don't remember the Friends of a Feather, that's what it's called. Duh, I wrote it right there, guys. So I thought this was so cute, and I got it on clearance at Hobby Lobby for like $4 or $5. I don't remember. I think it's in a video from this summer though on my channel. Came with some coordinating dies. So I cut out 2 of those guys, colored them in a little differently, cut out some of the leaves and colored them in. Now this was all done with my zigs and some of my blending, which I'm still trying to get a little bit better at my blending with those 2 blender pens I bought. Some of the hearts that came in the stamp set. Now I love my background, if you can see that. Now I started out with a blue card base and a piece of Bristol Smooth. I used my wonky stitch die from Simon Says Stamp to cut that out. But I used a combination of tumbled glass, Distress Oxide, and shaded lilac. And I just blended it in splotches, kind of like I'm making a galaxy sky, but with a regular sky in the background. And then I used my Unbelievable stencil from Heffy Doodle in the background over that with peacock feathers. After I did that, I covered the entire thing with clear embossing powder, and I love the look because it looks like it's from a jungle to me. It looks like it's from a jungle, and everything's covered in dew and water. And I really like the way that turned out, and it gives it a little bit of sparkle without using glitter. So I thought that was a pretty creative way to add a little bit of sparkle to the card. And then I popped, these guys come with a shadow. I don't know if you can see it on here. But it comes with the die to cut out the bird itself, and then it comes with a bigger die to cut out the shadow. So I cut out the shadow of them, glued them directly to the shadow on the vellum. Then I cut out another oval of vellum with my Hero Arts Infinity oval dies and popped them up on foam tape on top of the ovals. Because if I would have just stuck them to the card without anything behind them, they would have looked like, at least this one, would have looked like he was hanging on a stick in midair. At least with the vellum behind it, it looks to me like they're grounded somewhat. Plus it just gives it a little bit of, interest. Plus it gives the birds some dimension and separation from the background. I use another scrap piece of that basil cardstock because it was sitting on my desk and I thought it tied in the yellow a little bit, even though it's a little bit off color from the beaks. There are 3 different colors of yellow in the birds, so. And then I stamped out I Believe in You and covered it with clear embossing powder. If I can get it open. And that sentiment's also popped up on foam tape. And inside it says, "Two can do it. You got this." And both of those sentiments came in the stamp set. All right, guys. Moving on. That will be it for this video because I'm going to instantly download it and start another video to show you guys my haul. Unfortunately, it didn't all come today. Some of it's coming Monday, but it's still enough to do a video, and I don't want to wait to play with it. So I will see you guys soon in the next video. Have a wonderful weekend, but you will see me again before the weekend is over. If you like what you see, please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that notification button because a giveaway is coming up very soon, and there's usually one every month, at least once a month. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.